Okay, today's video, we're going to talk about Nextdoor advertising. Coming from an ad agency owner who does ads on whole bunches of different ad platforms. Not just Google, Facebook, but everything from Taboola to LinkedIn. I'm going to give you my perspective on this. I can tell you up front though that Nextdoor ads aren't as good as Google ads for most markets. Not all. It's a better opportunity than Google in some markets, which I'm going to tell you exactly what those markets are. And here's how to make money with it. If you want to make some serious dough running Nextdoor ads for your business, and you're in the right category of business or niche of business that this will work in, here's the method that we used to do that thing in the landscaping space to get some 1,000+ basic ROAS or greater in that market. And if you're in that market, you could get 1,000% ROAS as well, or a similar market to that, i.e. local business that is somewhat unique in what you're offering. There's a visual aspect to it. There's some differentiator that you have that you can advertise in your ad. Just saying that you are plain, have a plain old plumbing business, that's not going to work on Nextdoor. Saying you have a unique landscaping business that does really great, unique work, that will work. Just to give you a short example of how this is, what works on the platform and you can make good money with versus not make good money with. So I'll go through what those examples are. But before I do, I'll go through a quick prelude about platform, what works in general with this and other display advertising like this online, and what doesn't. So first of all, advertising on Nextdoor is like advertising on Facebook. If you're going to get it to work, it's going to be because people see something that's interesting to them. There's a whole lot of people who think that you're going to advertise on Facebook even, or Nextdoor, or like what we're talking about here, or elsewhere outside of a search engine, and they're just going to be boring. There's nothing individually different or unique about it, because ultimately, think about yourself. You want people to see your ad and just click through your ad and buy. How often do you click through an ad and buy? Not often, or not often enough. 1 out of 1,000 ads you see or less. People are scrolling down the so-called news feed on Nextdoor or Facebook. For the most part, people are trained to say, is this an ad or is this not an ad? And where they think it's an ad, they immediately reject that post and they go down to the next thing. If you're going to have any chance to make money, you got to be able to, on the few times they actually will read your ad, get them interested in a hurry and not be boring. That means having something different. That means being faster than the competition, not just a little faster and just saying, we're faster. We're 10 times faster. Here's why. We're 3 times cheaper for the same quality. Here's why. We're 10 times better than the competition. Here's why. We're the first one offering XYZ. That's the differentiation level that you need to have. And you got to do it better than your local competition of the other people that you're competing against in that local area, wherever that prospect that's seeing that ad is. Okay? If you got something here that you're significantly better than the competition, which you, by the way, should, because getting into business where you're not 10 times better than the competition, unless you're sitting on a whole ton of cash, it's going to be extremely hard to be able to make your business work. That's just kind of the way that it is, because you need an unfair advantage when you're starting out to get your ads to work when you have no reputation and no feedback, reviews, that kind of thing. Not saying you can't do it, but it's damn hard. But even if you do have this differentiator, okay, to get your ads to work on Nextdoor and sites like it that you'd like to advertise on, people spending real money, i.e., $1,000 or more, are not going to hire the first person they see, which is the reason why I said that Google ads are better than Nextdoor ads for most people, or at least the people that are selling something that's going to be more than $1,000, which that may not be what you could declare as most people, $1,000 or more ticket size, but Because even if you show up on Nextdoor Ads, you can say you're 10 times better, and that makes you different than anybody else, so that when that person, before they buy, goes to Google and see what else is available, you still end up being the one of choice, respectively. But for the most part, for something over $1,000, people are going to do considerable research. You're going to plant the idea in their head with your ad, and then they're going to go to Google. You got to just know they're going to go to Google, look what else is available, and if they can't still seem like you're the best option even after that, you're wasting your time for the most part advertising on Nextdoor. If you sell something for $100 or $200 or $300 and you're not the best person in the market, you can a lot of times still get them to do business with you because it's not enough money where they're going to fuss with doing all that extra research. But still, your best bet is to be faster, cheaper, better first, so that even if they do go to Google, you end up being the one that they choose anyway. And that's the main key thing I would tell you right up front. Now, and obviously, if Nextdoor ads work, you should do Google as well. Some markets, like I said, if you're selling something for over $1,000 and you're not the default best option in your market, then I would just go Google. Because people on Google, they're already on Google. And for the most part, you don't have to be the best person in your market if you're just showing up on Google Ads. They're not going to go dig. I know it sounds like I'm kind of contradicting myself, but I can tell you, you don't have to be the best one in the market. Just because you're at the top of Google, you're going to earn enough trust from that person that they're just going to go with you a lot of times anyway. They don't have time to do all the research. Versus, it's going to be rare if they find you on Nextdoor, at least after a certain threshold of price, that they're not going to go do any other research before they buy. So anyway, to make money though on Nextdoor, I recommend branding yourself as the local expert, as that's what this platform actually is about. It's about hyper-local advertising. So an example of this would be saying you're the best lawn mowing company in Thousand Oaks, or the best handyman service in Hollywood. What you don't want to do, for example, is say like best plumbing service in Denver. Why? Because Denver's way too broad of a localized area to mean anything. It's not going to stand out to the user in terms of the ad that you're running on the platform. Because I'm not, I'm from XYZ part of Denver. I'm not, people identify themselves as from a certain part of the city, not from the city itself. Technically, there's a part of Denver that's called Denver, and for the most part, but Denver Metro, 2/3 of the people are in different towns that surround Denver. What we found is, not just on Nextdoor, but in other markets, but especially on Nextdoor, that if you say you're the best in that little pocket of area that the user's in, and you advertise to people in that area, the ads actually work really, really well. So you should niche down local-wise, do like a 1 mile target radius around the specific city that you're targeting, and then you could say, you're the best one in that area, and you can get good response from your ads, okay? Along with that, what you want to do is make a Nextdoor for Business page, and then on that page, you're going to brand yourself as the best person in that area. So because I know what you're saying already, but Corey, I target more than just one little city. I target the whole area. And there's not enough customers in one little area that will whet my appetite, basically. The reality is, I've talked about this on other videos before. You niche down first because the ROI is going to be much greater niching down. When you take the money from niching down in the one area to go into other areas, instead of going super broad right away, your ROI shit, and you can't make money and you're done before you ever get started, basically. So pick one area in your geographic area that you want to go after and dominate that one area. Kill it, make your money, start it in another area, okay? On your Nextdoor for Business page, technically, since you could only have one, you're going to have to pick the best area you want. But what I would do personally, if you use this strategy for yourself, I'd start another legal entity that targets another area here. But that said, you create a Nextdoor for Business page, assuming you want to target Hollywood. If you're serving all of LA, but you want to really nail Hollywood or get more customers from Hollywood, and you have a handyman service, say you're the best handyman service in Hollywood, brand your Nextdoor for Business page just about Hollywood and just about your handyman service there, of course. And then you keep updating your business page about your handyman service so that you get some organic coverage going. You get a little bit of a so-called following or awareness around your brand. And then you run ads in your same Hollywood area to try to get people to buy. Somebody that's seen a post from you, by the way, which you're not going to just post, hey, hire me. You post certain things like, did you know that oiling your locks prevents lockouts in 27% of instances, or whatever. Helpful information that the user wants to know. If somebody in your area of Hollywood sees that and then they see your ad later on, they're going to be 5 to 10 times more likely to respond to your ad than if they didn't see that post before. You don't need to do tons of updates, but do an update or 2 or 3 a week like that, educational posts, to support making your ads better or making your ads work better, if you will. So with that said, you do the organic posts, which that's why Nextdoor is blowing up more than Facebook is for this type of content, because there's no organic reach on Facebook, so nobody bothers with that content coming from small businesses anyway. Whereas Nextdoor, you can get great organic reach, but the organic reach isn't going to give you very much on its own, or not nearly as much as it should or could. Then you follow up with the ads, and then because they've seen you before, it crushes it. But even if they haven't seen you doing things the way that I'm explaining here, you'll crush it anyway. That is, again, you just target people in Hollywood saying you're the best handyman service in Hollywood. And because handyman services are kind of rare, there's no big conglomerate company that does handyman services in LA. It's the kind of thing that you would want to buy locally. Then you've got really good message to market match there. They should respond really, really well. They're from Hollywood. They want the handyman. If they wanted a handyman, they want the best one in their local area that their neighbors are using, and then you've got a perfect match there, okay? So that gives you a general idea what to do, and then you just keep running it, and of course, the more customers you get in that area, the better it'll get. Now, we did this for a landscaping company, okay? Landscaping is very visual. So in this particular instance, taking this exact strategy, we targeted for a client a prestigious area of Chicago that they wanted to tap into. And we did a 1 mile radius around that particular part of Chicago. And then what we did was, just like with the example I gave you with the handyman, we created the Nextdoor for Business page, branded it as the landscaping company of XYZ part of Chicago that we were targeting, okay? And then we ran the ads for that same part of Chicago, saying that we are the landscaping company, the #1 landscaping company of that part of Chicago. And then we started getting customers. When would we get the customers? And this would only work if you have a good service, by the way. But once we started getting the customers, we would take a photograph of the lawn of that customer, assuming we could get away with it. Then we would post those photographs on our Nextdoor for Business page, so that later on, when somebody would see an ad from us, when they go to our Nextdoor for Business page, they see the lawn we did for their neighbor, legitimately, which matches up really well, ironically, with why they're on Nextdoor to begin with. And so that every job that we got, we take the photo, post it to their board, and then that made the ads work better and better and better all the time, because the more people that they saw that they liked that you did that's close to them on the Nextdoor for Business page, the higher the conversion rate from the ads would be. Even though you drive people, or can drive people I should say, to a landing page from a Nextdoor for business or Nextdoor ad that you're running. You can also drive your traffic directly to your Nextdoor for business page, which that's exactly what we did in this case. We didn't do it right away though. Once you've built up enough jobs in that area and you've posted them to your page there, you can drive them directly to your page, and then the page just speaks for itself. They know you're not just saying you're the #1 landscaping company in XYZ part of Chicago. You actually are proving it right away with all the photographs of all the jobs that you've done in that specific part of Chicago. So you can understand why they would want to hire you as soon as you can get them to that page. So proving and showing people that you're the #1 company is way more powerful than just saying it, obviously. So this is just an effective way to deliver and show that if you are going to hire somebody, you might as well be us. Of course, because you could visually see it through the photographs of the jobs that we were doing, but just the fact that there's job after job after job after job from that one part of Chicago that they're in is very convincing. So that's pretty much the model I would recommend to you right there. Once you start making money from this, you can then replicate this to other parts of the city that you're in, like I was saying before. Start up another Nextdoor for Business page, do it for another part of the city. And yes, it's more work and more management to manage different pages for different parts of the city, but I promise you, this is the method that works on Nextdoor really, really well. You're not going to see really great ROI/ROAS, return on account spend, basically is what ROAS stands for, until you've ran your ads for a while, because it takes time to build up the case studies, if you will, for what you're doing in that specific area. The more of them you build up, the better the ROI from your ads are going to get, particularly as you can just redirect people to the Nextdoor for Business page that you have set up instead of your website. Or should I say dedicated landing page that tries to say you're the best one in the area, but you don't have the proof yet. After 18 months of running that ad where you could just simply spend $10 a day is plenty fine, building up jobs, you should be able to at least get 1,000% ROI on that Nextdoor campaign with this exact model. Once you've built up and you've done 5, 10, 15, 20 jobs to list on your page like that to prove to people that you're the best one in the area and have physical, visual evidence of you doing a good job. If you didn't, by the way, have something that was done, visual, like landscaping, going back to the handyman service, I would just simply do my posts on my page and then show, saying, this is what XYZ customer said about us. XYZ customer from Hollywood. If you're targeting Hollywood, then you mention it's in Hollywood. That way, again, when you redirect the traffic to your page, your ad redirects people to your page, and they're scrolling down, they can see that you've dealt with all these people locally, if you will, and who it is specifically. Once they see who it is, they obviously know that they could reach out to that person, which they're not going to necessarily do that, but if they wanted to, you could do that. And then that you can get the interaction from, if you say XYZ reviewed us and you post that on your wall, on your Nextdoor business page, that person will comment underneath that share, and then if you redirect them to your page and they see that, they know they can click on that person's profile and go to that person and verify what they said, if you get my point. I.e., here's your page here. You get a post from somebody who you make a post about your testimonial that you got. That person whose testimonial you're highlighting in your post goes to comment underneath, and so when you run your ad over here saying you're the best handyman in Hollywood, you drive them to your page, they see your post, then they see the comment underneath it from the person that you quoted. They know they can click on them and go to their profile and talk to them and verify that you really are the shit, basically. So you're basically just building up you're paying for a reputation, essentially. Building up a reputation in a small area not expecting a lot at first because you don't have the street cred in that area, but the more jobs you build up, and the more case studies, if you will, if you want to call them a case study, that you build up on your page there, the better your ads are going to work because you're more and more proven in that area. And you build it up enough, the ads are just going to work like, amazingly well because it's obvious you're the best vendor in that area. It's not speculative anymore. And then you can use that money to dominate another area. So it's a totally different approach than what most people do, where they try to blanket, their advertising across the city. And because it's so diluted, it doesn't work nearly as well as it should, versus hyper concentrating your advertising in a 1 square mile radius and just try to be the most known landscaper in a 1 mile radius. And get what you can, because there's not a lot of jobs and there's not a lot of people who want landscaping in a 1 mile radius on an ongoing basis. But there's enough to start building up a reputation in that area so that if anybody is going to do it, assuming that they're on the Nextdoor app, they're only going to probably want to go with you at that point in time because they're for sure going to see your ad because you got it constantly going in that small little area. You can afford to do it. It's only a 1 mile radius area. You can afford to have it run nonstop in that area. So effectively, that's a much better way to go from zero to build up a multi-million-dollar a year company. Dominate one area at a time. Nextdoor is just a perfect app to do it. On Nextdoor is the perfect place that people would want to see that someone like yourself showcasing the results. On Facebook, you could kind of replicate that same thing, but they're not there for that necessarily. Nextdoor, that's exactly kind of basically what they're there for. They want to see other people that are getting stuff done, whether that's house cleaning or landscaping services, and what their experiences are. So you're aggregating all of this content about all the experiences from all the neighbors in that area are receiving about your service and saying, hey, look guys, if you ever are looking for a landscaping job or a landscaper, look at all the reviews that I got from your neighbors here. So you may not want it now, but if you do, obviously I'm the one. And that helps the user out. Because you help the user out at a high level, your campaigns can work at a high level. So that's basically the process that I would recommend to you if you're going to go on Nextdoor to advertise. Start with one little area and then branch out from there once you are starting to get results in your one area and you can afford to already run the ad full-time in your area and you've kind of already maxed it out, if you will. And just constantly, and by the way, as far as the ad goes, just on that, what you're going to do on the ad is pretty simple as well. Whatever reviews you're posting on your Nextdoor business page, those same results is what's going to be in your ad. You're going to say, hey, Jimmy Jones said this about our landscaping job that we just did on 24th Street. And then you're going to show a picture of the job that you did. And if people click on that, that's when you're going to take them back to your Nextdoor for Business page, okay? And then they can see all the other jobs that you've done. Because obviously if they saw one and they were interested in that, they're going to be interested in all the rest of them. So that's your funnel, so to say. Show them one job you did that looks interesting, or that XYZ neighbor that they may know of or heard of from 24th Street has said, and then you can see what everybody else is saying from your neighborhood about you by clicking on that ad. So there's a whole, keeping up with the Joneses thing. People don't feel like they're left out. If somebody said something, about you, they want to kind of see who it was. They'll click on your ad a lot of times just to see who the hell this person is and where their house is and what street they're on, just because they're nosy. Kind of like, again, why they're on the platform. So you could take that nosiness and use it to get the person to your page, and once they get to your page, the service you're selling sells itself. Either right away because they were looking for somebody, or later on when they eventually do need to have somebody. But for the most part, you're getting people that were already thinking about buying landscaping services, to see your ad at the right time, because that, that's normally what's going to get that person to respond, because they'll forget about you even if they were impressed initially. But that's effectively that's kind of how you reel them in, so to say. And a lot of times, if they've seen somebody hire a landscaper and they think the lawn looks nice, or they just think the lawn looks nice in general, and then later on they see your ad that has that lawn on it and you talk about that job you did, they're definitely going to want to click on that post, because that's just really interesting content that you would want to see anyway on that platform. So there's many reasons why this works. That's the kind of funnel that I would recommend to you for what you're doing, if you will. Testimonials on the ad effectively, or case studies if you want to, where you're giving people a bite-sized chunk of what that job you did was about. Drive them to your page. Way more than just the same content. If they were looking for somebody in that category that you're in, you're now the person that they want to hire. If you like my video, I'd appreciate it if you would give it a like and consider subscribing, as I have a ton of other content on this channel about other ad strategies you can use to make millions of dollars with ads in your business. It's coming from somebody who manages ad accounts all day long, specifically the strategy, and my content on this channel is coming from somebody who just manages and does the strategy for dozens of clients and dozens of different ad accounts that I personally manage on an ongoing basis. So it's coming straight from the source, or as much from the source as it could be, whereas most of the content you see online, including YouTube, is from people that are not doing strategy all day long on advertising accounts. They're selling courses or whatever, and that's just not good enough. With that said, get the information from the source, subscribe, and furthermore, if you like my channel already, by the way, I also got content on my site at guaranteeppc.com/blog. There's other step-by-step advice on how to make money with your ads, make millions of dollars with them, as well as on my column at entrepreneur.com if you want to also see my written content there. If you have any questions about anything I covered today, leave me a comment below. I get back to every single person who leaves me a comment on this channel, usually within a couple days' time. Any ad-related question you have, feel free to ask. I love to get back to my viewers and give back to put them on the right track with what they're doing, and I'm happy to do that for you as well. Beyond that, if you are looking for the best ad manager to take your results on your online advertising to the next level, I'd be happy to give you a quote on how much I can get for you on your current ads if you reach out to me at my firm at guaranteeppc.com. We do not charge any fees to our clients until you get more sales results on your campaigns. And I can tell you how much sales results I can get for you if you reach out to me. We don't work with just any client, but if you have a great product or service that looks like it can do well, I'd love to be able to hear from you and work together. Either way, I can get you a quote on what we can get done with your company. Either way, whether we work together or not. By the way, if you're not looking for an ad agency, want to manage your own ads, but you want to shortcut your results, of course you got content on this channel that helps you do that. But why not take the templates that we've already developed for your industry if we've already worked in your industry before? We literally have cut, copy, and paste ad templates that work for a number of different industries: plumbing, services, foundation repair, on and on and on, including some e-commerce services, where you can take the ads that we already know work in your space, copy those into your account, and get the same results we did building up results in that industry over years. You can get it for your account right away by just using what we know, using what already works in your market. And we could tell you what results you'd get up front because we already worked in your market, obviously. So reach out to me if you're interested in that as well. I'll let you know what we have and if we worked in your market before, and help you if we can. But with that said, I'll wrap it up with that. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in my next video where we have another great strategy for you to make some more money with your ads there as well. See you later.